Bill Belichick, for the first time since he got to New England 90 years ago and rode a horse with Paul Revere, is on the hot seat. This is what I keep saying. When you're an 80-year-old man who's had great success in every aspect of your life and you're now taking stock of reality, it's going to come to an end at some point. You're going to turn the franchise over to your kids. You know, life is on the back nine, right? Mm-hmm. Like he said, we are in the winning business. He can back it up. He's got 6 Super Bowl rings. He's got the greatest coach of all time.
Yes.
But it is very important, his words, not mine, to win this year, to make the playoffs this year. This is the longest drought without a playoff win that they've had in over 20 years now. Bill Belichick's the first ballot Hall of Fame. It's not about legacy. It's not about that. It's about an 80-year-old billionaire who wants one more run at it, maybe 2 more runs at it, which is why I'm going to use that statement from Robert Kraft to make 2 declarative statements of my own. For the first time since he got to New England, he is on the hot seat. The owner just said it. You have to make the playoffs this year. Well, let's take a look. If you have Mac Jones and the Jets have Aaron Rodgers, and the Bills have Josh Allen, and the Dolphins have a healthy Tua, you are not winning your division. You are not coming in second. You are probably not coming in third. You are not making the playoffs. That is why I do not believe the report that's out there that New England has no interest at all in Lamar Jackson. And I don't want to make this a Lamar issue because it's a New England issue, but you have to take stock of who you're competing against. You are no longer that team. Now, I think Belichick is still just as good a coach as he's always been. And the fact that they did make the playoffs 2 years ago with a rookie in Mac Jones, and they were game away from the playoffs last year with a regressing Mac Jones, says a lot about Bill Belichick. It really does. Great coach. Maybe did his best coaching in those 2 years. But you are not going to compete at the level your owner's demanding you compete at against the competition you have. Don't forget, you got to play Josh Allen twice. You got to play Aaron Rodgers twice. You got to play Tua twice, right? You're not making the playoffs, guys. Sorry. But there's a guy available that would fulfill the owner's mandate, which is win. I want to win. We have to win. So, yeah, I get it. There's a report out there, unconfirmed. New England never said anything publicly. Indy did. Atlanta did. Washington did. But New England hasn't. New England actually acknowledged that they are thinking about Lamar Jackson, whether it's because Meek Mill asked Robert Kraft or not, it's not the point. The point is they have not come out and said no. And if your owner's telling your fan base, I got you guys, we're going to do everything we can to win, Lamar Jackson changes the narrative of the next couple seasons for New England.
Look, I like this. I like this take that he's on the hot seat. It doesn't mean he's going to get fired, but his seat is a little more uncomfortable.
Has to be.
It is. When you hear what Robert Kraft said, you know, look, I like him to break the record.
And he's 18 away.
Yes. He's 18
so that's not
away.
happening this year anyway.
Then he contrasts that entire statement with his next word, but.
Right.
And then he moves on, but I'm all about winning.
Right, because what he's saying is, I don't care about individual stats.
Yes, absolutely.
And the comparison there is, I don't care if my quarterback breaks every record. I don't care if my head coach breaks Shula record. It'd be nice.
Yes.
But I'm more concerned with the team's success than my coach becoming the all-time winningest coach in NFL history. That's putting a guy not on blast, but on notice.
Yes, and with that, like we, as players, we don't get to sit and talk about what we've done in our career.
Well, unless you're Aaron Rodgers.
And bring that to the table if we haven't performed this last final year that you just witnessed. And so for Bill Belichick to sit down a couple days ago and say, well, what do the New England Patriots have to be excited for? Well, or whatever the question was. Well, the last 25 years.
He's like, why are you confident?
Yeah,
and he goes,
why,
well, you know.
the last 25 years.
Right.
No. The last 4 years, there's been nothing.
I think about this. New England under Bill Belichick has never missed the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. That's never happened. That's in jeopardy right now. So, we can pay all the lip service we want to what's going on around Lamar Jackson. It just makes sense.
It does.
Right? It just makes sense. And Robert Kraft even acknowledged that they have thought about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, apparently, I didn't hear him say it himself, but apparently has said to people, there may even be a quote from him somewhere, yeah, I'd love to talk to New England, right?
I bet.
So you're going to have to convince me, other than from the Baltimore standpoint, not wanting to trade him inside the conference and watch him excel with another AFC team, which I would totally understand their reluctance to do that. But they're at an impasse, man. They're in a bad spot right now with their franchise quarterback. Maybe 2 first-round draft picks from New England, makes them feel better about it. But it just makes, sometimes when things make too much sense, they happen. This
true.
makes too much sense.
But don't you think Bill at this point is just full on untouchable? He's got 6 rings. I mean, who is he going to replace him with?
So he's untouchable from a legacy standpoint.
Yeah.
But everybody's fireable.
Yes.
And while I don't think Robert Kraft would ever embarrass him, my gut would be that the way that goes, and it's going to happen at some point, if Bill doesn't announce, this is my last year going into a year, where they do it collectively. They'll sit down as men who have great admiration and respect for one another and say, I think we can agree it's time. Whether it's Gerard Mayo, who I know they're grooming right now to be a potential head coach down the line, or even Bill Belichick's son, Steve, I think is his name, who's been a secondaries coach there. And there's a great article about what Devin McCourty said great things about him. There is a succession plan coming for New England. So I don't think that they could go 3-14. I don't think Robert Kraft's going to embarrass Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
He's earned that right. But I also know that they are the most competitive sons of bitches that you got in any room you're ever in. And that's why I don't care. You can hear all the reports you want. Until I see this season start and Lamar Jackson not in a Patriot uniform, I believe there's a chance he'll be in one. I just do.
Yeah, look, you just hit it on the head. Like, they're about winning. Like, we heard Woody talk about it's about winning.
Yeah, just think about it for a second. Woody Johnson says, I'm in the winning business. He's never won.
Yeah.
Robert Kraft says, so you're like, that guy ain't lying.
Yeah, because that's what they're accustomed to. That's who they are. That's what is expected not only inside, but outside. We expect the New England Patriots to be competitive. And not just competitive, be contenders. And so for what has transpired and what is transpiring within that division, forget the conference and the Kansas City Chiefs. Within that division, you are the worst team in that division going it. You would probably end up 4th in that division.
Yep.
With the way things are unfolding this offseason.
And by the way,
within that division.
7-10 is still 4th place.
Like, you're not going
competing
anywhere.
is still 4th place. And yes, I think he's the best coach still in football, all due respect to Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid. Belichick is the guy all other coaches are measured by. And I don't think, if you're Belichick and you have the grace of God blessed you with Tom Brady, do you want to go out in your last 5 years not being in the playoffs and saying, man, I could have gotten Lamar Jackson, but I thought I was such a good coach, I went to war with Mac Jones? Like, that doesn't make sense.
At all.
And Bill Belichick's not a dumb guy. He gets it.
Yeah.
All right, so it'll play out in an interesting fashion. Now, from a Jet fan perspective, yeah, don't go get Lamar Jackson. I want to win my first division in 93 years. I'm looking forward to it. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.